Hello, I'm Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be talking about the GungHo Collab Super Godfest that is occurring in North America right now. So, the GungHo Collab is finally making a return to North America, but unfortunately or fortunately, it's coming within a Super Godfest. That means we can't utilize the Monster Exchange system to acquire the cards, but 4 of the top rarity cards have received the special Dark evolutions, which makes them significantly more powerful to the point where 3 out of the 4 are top tier leaders. So if you are looking to roll for high value, this is one of the best Super Godfests to do so. So, the pros of this Godfest is that it is a Super Godfest, which means there is approximately a 33 or 1 in 3 chance to roll either one of the top rarity GungHo Collab cards or a 6/7 star Godfest exclusive. There are wonderful collateral benefits. Every roll comes out plus 297, which is nice. Max Awoken, save Tamadras. Max Level, save lots of monster experience. Useful overall, but it's just nice that we have a little bit of extra zest. They have the new Dark Evolutions for the GungHo Collab cards. We also have a skill leveling dungeon, which is pretty standard nowadays, but one thing I want to stress is that certain evolutions for the GungHo Collab characters will have different active skills, so just check the dungeon beforehand to make sure you're actually skilling up the right card instead of wasting stamina. And all the 7-star Godfest exclusives have a 1.5% chance of rolling, which is actually reasonable for the most part. And as if I'm not mistaken, there are no 5-star GungHo Collab cards, which were just pretty much garbage all around. In terms of the drawbacks of this Godfest, it is 10 magic stones per pull, so it is on the pricier side. They're trying to justify it with the collateral benefits. It doesn't really offset it fully, but at least there is a 33% chance, so that's at least a nice odds overall. There are, like I said already, there is no monster exchange available, so you actually have to roll Zeta, Karin, Razor if you actually want to acquire those valuable cards. And it's mostly older 5-star Pantheon cards as filler for like 50-odd% chance. But again, this is still one of the better value Godfests overall in my opinion. So I'm just going to be showing the GungHo Collab cards because the Godfest cards, we kind of are familiar with them for the most part. And like I alluded to beforehand, 3 of the new Dark Evolutions are incredibly strong leaders. So if you are looking for a new leader, you should possibly spend some magic stones here. So, limit breaking is the process of turning a monster that has this blue text beyond level 99. This will unlock additional weighted stats and possibly a super awakening. The monster exchange system is not available, so that I just keep that as a format to remind players of that. And then the weapon assist. So there are some weapon assists available through the GungHo Collab characters. If they have a weapon assist evolution, it will be indicated by this icon there, and basically it means that when you inherit that card onto something else, they will transfer whatever awakenings they brought along with it to the new base card. So for the 7-star cards, we have GungHo Reach, and GungHo Reach is basically a color swapped Reach, except they don't have the weapon assist form, which is probably the best part of Reach at this point in time. So it's basically an exact color copy, except there's no sub attribute, and they're dark instead of water. So being dark instead of water is in theory a little bit nicer, but the main issue is using Reach as a leader is a little problematic, mostly because, well, it is a rainbow-based leader. You have lower effective health. You only have 43.75% damage reduction. It's not that high. So you have to hit rainbow colors, which means you have a much tougher time VDPing, possibly follow-up attacking, and just activating on a general basis because, well, you need 4 out of the 5 colors present all the time, limits your board changers, so on and so forth. So this rainbow leader drawbacks are going to apply to every single card we see in every event, basically as drawbacks for those respective cards. But in terms of the benefits, it has the same active skill of Reach, so it has a negate damage absorb, so a Fusion style active skill, negates attribute absorb, so color absorb. So color absorb, damage absorb is both cancelled. We don't need both at the same time though, but it gives you that flexibility. Unlocks orbs, and then 6 elementals, so 5 colors plus hearts. So it's a reasonably strong active skill in the sense it does so many things, and its cooldown is 30 turns, which is problematic, but the thing is, it is offset by their double skill charge, and with 2 skill charge, they can in theory charge up in 10 turns. This does not obviously work out in theory, but it is possible. But the main drawback is that if you were wanting to inherit Reach, or any Reach for that matter, onto a card, you won't have the skill charge awakening transfer over, so you're going to have a very tough time actually activating that inherit. So if you are looking for a Fusion style active skill or a color absorb negate, you are going to have to probably look at other options, especially if you are inheriting them. And like I already mentioned, there is no weapon assist form because the weapon assist form for Reach is incredibly strong. Bind immunity, TPA, long cooldown, so the active skill doesn't charge up, and if it does, it's still useful. I was looking at Spirit Island. I was thinking it might be a good board game. Thank you. WordPress. So Noir is next. So Noir is able to create 4 dark orbs from non-dark orbs, 1 turn delay. Not really accomplishing much, because when you think about it, if you're delaying, you're probably not wanting to kill it at the same time because you want to stall. But by making 4 dark orbs, you're saying, I want to kill the spawn. So you have a unfortunate active skill that's combining 2 less than synergistic components for an 8-turn cooldown. And either component by itself is not very strong. In terms of the leader skill, there are 4 144 times leader, but you have to match 3 dark combos. So we know for a fact that that is a very hard to achieve aspect. Like Hiei from one of the previous collabs, I forgot, similar idea, but he has higher, like he has damage reduction built in and a higher scaling multiplier. So it's just like Hiei had problems, but Noir I feel has even more problems because their active skill is much weaker overall. In terms of their awakenings, they can become a 777 combo card with VDP, so they have high damage potential. But the thing is, having high damage is nothing special in this day and age. So many cards are able to deliver massive amounts of damage, and having another one is nice, but you have to think, will it outpace other options available? Like, the thing is, they offer no other type of utility. There's no follow-up attack. There's no other like fancy little thing here and there. It's only a single skill boost. And their active skill, like I mentioned before, is quite underwhelming. And the thing is, you want to inherit over top of it. But it's 8 turns plus whatever you're inheriting. So it might take quite some time to actually have that inherited skill charge up. So it is a little problematic. Like if you're using something like, say, Dark Cotton or any Cotton by comparison, you have similar awakenings in the sense that you can get 777 combo with or just 777 combo, no VDP, but you have follow-up attack, you have a shorter base cooldown, and the base cooldown is probably more effective overall. Like, the point of the matter is, like, Noir is just doing things okay, but not surpassing or exceeding current options because you're just kind of being blended in as terms of a damage stick. So I'm not terribly impressed with the card. I hope they get buffed in the future, like how some of the other GungHo Collab cards got buffed. Ralg is mostly a fire farming leader. Basically, you have a gazillion fire rows between 2 leaders, and your leader skill triggers when matching 6 connected fire orbs. So you have 225 times and 43.75% damage reduction. Very similar to things like Medu and Sheet, but you have to match only fire. That is going to be a little problematic because Sheet and Medu can match 5 of anything, whereas Ralg has to match 5 or 6 connected fire orbs specifically, and you have to use an active skill to trigger it, his full multiplier. So 2 components that are more problematic, less consistency, so he's not a strong traditional leader, but mostly for farming purposes. But the advantage he has over Sheet or Medu is that with the 6+6 for dual leader rows, you have 12 fire rows. You do a stupendously high amount of damage with even just a mono board or just a single row swipe. So it has some applications there, but we are becoming somewhat drowned in strong farming leaders, so he's nothing exceptionally amazing. Orage is basically orange without the N, which is kind of unusual. I'm not sure how that name came about, but their active skill deals 5% of enemies max HP, so the babiest of baby gravities, and then change the middle row to water orbs and the third column from the right into water. So basically you're creating this weird looking T symbol, and basically you're able to generate 10 water orbs instantaneously. So double row makers make 12, which is great because you can make the 7 combo VDP. With these 10, you can quickly solve it into a pattern quite easily, but the thing is, how you like this is a unique active. We only have Thouser from the Fist of the North Star collab, who is probably not really going to come back ever again. So this might be the only type of active skill we might have that creates this funky pattern, which is nice because you can use a mono board changer and then Orage right after to get a nice 20-10 distribution. That can produce 3 rows with 6 combos if you cascade them properly, which is kind of cool as well. But the thing is, how important is this going to be when you have double row makers such as Servant Assassin or Yu-Gi-Oh, which we have acquired for free? Like, maybe I would use this card every now and then, but I'm not sure if I really would be pursuing it, so to speak. But I guess on the bright side, it does come with 3 or 4 skill boosts in solo, so it might help out if you're doing some sort of solo farming content. But again, you bring a Whale Door, that's 5 skill boosts, maybe that's just better overall, but possibly giving some options. But the main appeal, like I said, is the free 10 water orbs being spawned. And now we come to the exciting cards. So the next 4 cards are the GungHos from Chronomagia, and they have these dark evolutions, which gives them significantly more power, as well as alternative viability, because they're quite different. So the first is Karin. So Karin's active skill changes in dark form, like all other dark cards, in that now she has 3 turns of 2 times damage for light and dark attribute cards, and for 3 turns, reduce damage taken by 50% on a 13-turn cooldown. So you can have almost 50% uptime or so with dual leaders, which can give you significantly higher damage and effective health, but you're also sacrificing 2 active skill slots, which may or may not be the best idea. Their leader skill is 4 times attack and 1.5 times health for light attribute. So a nice flat 2.25 times health. Very nice, like no condition whatsoever. Increase orb movement time by 2 seconds. Sweet, we love an extra. We'll have 9 seconds base orb movement time, and any more with what subs you bring. And then 4 times attack, 2 times RCV when matching 5 or more connected orbs. So your RCV is greatly boosted to the point where it's 4 times. With 4 times RCV, you can heal back from anything. Poison orbs are not as big of a problem. Even mortal poison orbs shouldn't be as detrimental because you can just match heal orbs with a 5 blob somewhere, and you heal up a stupendously high amount of health. Furthermore, matching 5 or more counts for follow-up attack, counts for VDP, so it does give some options there. Of course, your combo count has the chance of being lowered, but with all this extra movement time, you should be able to max combo a given board, and it might look unusual, like only 2.25 times health, but the 4 times RCV does make stalling easier. It means you don't have to bring enhanced heal orb awakening cards. You basically solve all the healing problems there. So the reason why Karin is so strong is because she has very easy to activate damage. You always can activate your full multiplier. It's not combo based, which is important because if you're trying to VDP with follow attack, you don't have to worry about hitting those 7 combos. When I was playing with Tao Ren the other night, doing Arena 5 solo, I was able to overcome all those spawns with VDP and follow attack just because I had the combo count built in, so I hit the big damage. But if Karin, you'll still hit your full multiplier when you make less combos, so it can be useful depending on the type of VDP card you bring. But if you have like a gemstone or using Karin's burst active, she has a VDP with dual leaders, but she has high effective damage against a lot of common spawns in Arena 5 and Alt Arena 2. Basically, Dragon and Devil are incredibly common encounters, and sometimes she does even 9 times personal damage against those spawns. So she has a lot of personal damage to counteract the end spawns, which are the more challenging ones, which makes her quite strong. She has basically limitless healing potential, has enough health to tank any reasonable hit. And the thing is, with her active skill, you can tank Goemon's preemptive on floor 2 for Alt Arena 2, which is important because being able to tank those hits are important. Yes, you do have to waste a single active skill, but it's the only large preemptive you have to really overcome. And you should be fine at that point in time. And for Arena 5, you can tank all preemptives naturally. You don't have to use the active skill. Active skill is definitely nice to make it so you can stall more easily, and it can possibly be a gemstone alternative. So she has quite a few options there, but the main point I want to stress is that she does have high personal damage, and the fact that she can use any light cards, so ideals, cottons, or nays, or whatever you find is best for yourself, you can use those cards. So you can build a team with incredibly high damage with no color restriction or combo count restriction. And that is the main appeal for Karin in her dark form. Her light form feels basically just like a watered-down Edward. She has the same awakenings as Edward, but a much weaker leader skill because she only gets damage reduction when matching 4 or more colors along with her max multiplier, and she has to hit 8 or more combos, so she has to hit high combos and color activation, whereas Edward needs to hit only 6 combos and stay above 50% health while also having a larger damage reduction component. In all honesty, I would pursue Dark Karin because you have easier team building because you use anything light. This Karin needs to have full rainbow coverage while still ideally being light because you want to try and concentrate your damage if at all possible. And then for her weapon assist, Karin can transform into a skill boost form. So having a skill boost form can be useful, but the thing is, because Dark Karin is so powerful, I do not recommend this unless you have duplicates of her and you have no interest in running her base form at all. Because one thing you can do is purchase Almond for 750,000 monster points. Technically farmable, but it gives a skill boost as well at the same time. And now we come to Zeta, who is arguably one of the single best leaders in the entire game. And it might look a little unusual at first, but I want to explain why he is so dominant. So his active skill reduces your health by 50%, which will lower the cooldown. 200 times water nuke to a single enemy, insignificant overall, but you create 6 water, 6 dark, and 6 heal orbs. So a pretty interesting orb changer overall. It's going to give you your activation requirements and give you that guaranteed follow-up attack. Furthermore, there's a strong chance if you had at least 3 water orbs beforehand to make enough for a VDP. Pretty interesting for active skill overall, but it's an 8-turn cooldown with the health reset, which is important for his team. His leader skill is 2 times health for water attribute, so any water card, including sub-attribute, but you generally want to just pursue water attribute cards overall, has 4 times health. And then you have 4 times attack when below 80%. So basically, you're like Dark Metatron now. Be below 80%, trigger your full multiplier. 3.5 times attack and reduce damage taken by 25% when matching water and dark. So you have nearly the same multipliers as Dark Metatron. You have the same health, slightly less attack, same damage reduction. So he has a stupendously high amount of effective health. You can tank gigantic amounts of damage with relative ease because you have 4 times health and damage reduction built on top of it. It's going to be quite hard to actually kill Zeta overall. But it's his Awakenings and Active Skill synergy on an 8-turn cooldown that makes him so powerful. He has 3 attack while below 50% Awakenings with an L, so you have the Orb unlocking, possibly with extra damage as well. And you can take VDP or tape, but VDP is probably what you want to take. So triple attack while below is 8 times personal damage. You throw in another 1.5, I think it's 1.5 times for the L, another higher amount of damage. Throw in the VDP, you have a stupendously high amount of VDP damage. But one incredibly important aspect is that Zeta's best sub is multiple Zetas, because as long as you match water and dark orbs, you are dealing a stupendously high amount of damage. You throw in most of the Zetas with VDP, you're going to be able to easily pierce through without a gemstone required because you have so high effective damage. And because his leader skill is not tied to combo count, that is the biggest issue. Because so many endgame spawns now feature Resolve and Damage Void, you have to make your 3x3 box and your column of heart orbs. And doing that is going to generally not result in 7 or more combos. So things like Dark Metatron, who have to hit 7 or more combos for her leader skill and personal damage, are going to struggle there. But Zeta does not. You can make 3 combos. You make your water box, a dark combo, a column of heart orbs. You will deal your full multiplier and all of his personal damage at the same time. So that's going to greatly increase your consistency levels, and that's one of the important things, and that's why it makes him such a strong leader, the fact that it's not tied to combos. Of course, making combos is important, but if you're not forced to, you have a much easier time clearing spawns with all these annoying and terrible mechanics. And that is the main reason why Zeta is so strong. But of course, to make him truly shine, you really need duplicates of himself. And he does technically have very little orb movement time depending on your team composition. So that could also be a problem. But again, you don't actually have to combo super hard. Other than that, Zeta should be ignored in every other form because his base form is basically a very water-hungry leader. You need to have 6+ waters at the same time, matching 7 combos, so a row of water and 7 or more combos. So much effort for so little return by comparison. Just ignore the Zeta. If you get multiple Zetas, make it more dark Zetas. His weapon assist is triple blind resist, which is the same as the Vita Saber from Monster Hunter, which is one of the 5-star rolls. So I can get a 5-star roll from Monster Hunter, make the triple blind resist. I'm happy. I don't care about Zeta's weapon assist. I just want Zeta to be dark form many times to have more amazingly powerful damage. Next is Elena, and Elena's active skill in her dark form is 99 turn Fire Skyfall. So it's very similar to Hiei, where you have the 99 turns of a certain orb falling down at 7% chance. It's not a terribly large increase, but it can be useful for teams that are obviously mono fire based. As a leader, you have 1.5 times health for fire attributes, and then when you match 2 or more fire combos, you have bonus damage, and then more damage, and then damage reduction when above 80%. So, as a leader, I'm not impressed whatsoever. You have 2 very restrictive conditions. Matching 2 fire combos is kind of frustrating because not every board has 6 fire orbs. Yes, the active Skyfall may help, but it's doubtful it's going to produce enough every single time. I've played Hiei many times. I never have enough dark orbs anyways, so I don't think this is going to change when I play Elena if I were to roll her. But the biggest issue is you have to remain above 80%. So you do have the same damage reduction component as Edward, but you have to be above 80. Edward has to be above 50. So Elena's window for opportunity is so terribly small. You can take most large hits are going to push you below your health threshold, and then you can't heal up. Yes, her active skill does provide you a 50% max heal, but it's an auto heal, which means it happens after matching orbs. So you don't get the damage multiplier when you match the orbs, so you're going to be stuck in this loop of taking damage, auto-healing back up, taking damage, auto-healing back up, and never actually killing a spawn. It is problematic overall. But any 99% gravity will push you below your 80% threshold, so you're going to have a bad time. Like, it's just inconsistent overall. And in all honesty, I would stick with the Elena's base form, because Elena's base form has many killers. You could have either double god, double dragon, double devil with one of the other two alongside of it. So very nice amount of personal damage against those respective spawns, and it can be nice for ranking or farming dungeon purposes. Her active skill removes locked orb status, increase chance of fire skyfalls by 15%, which is much higher than 7. It's going to be much more common to actually see a fire orb drop down, and then change the whole board to fire and light. So we have seen players utilize this for ranking dungeons to greatly pad your combo count. Yes, there is more animation, but if combos are the most important thing in the ranking dungeon, it can make a big difference because you can easily match the bicolor board, and those fire skyfalls give you a much higher chance of something actually matching alongside of it. Still a relatively niche card overall. I feel that she is the weakest of all the GungHo Chronomagia characters because she just has the least powerful dark form, and her weapon assist is really just a TPA. And we have many other options for TPA, and TPA itself, yeah, it's just not that great of an awakening overall for such a high value card as weapon assist. And now we come to Dark Razor. So Dark Razor is another stellar leader, but he comes with a very interesting active skill. So his active skill is able to reduce your health by 50%, which will lower the cooldown, but you do a tiny amount of wood damage, whatever, 60 times. But the main appeal is for 2 turns, bypass damage absorption shield effects. So this is 2 turns of Fujin-style active skill. You might think, wow, this is excessive, but also, wow, why is the cooldown so short? It's because you nuke your own health. Fujin is a 19-turn cooldown, Razor is 17. Razor provides 2 turns. So the 2 turns are either for when you flub the board, which should not happen, but the main appeal is in Arena 5, where you actually have the chance of encountering Machine Athena and then Durga back-to-back. Each spawn is a 50% chance, so a 25% chance to have both of them, but when you have both of them back-to-back, your damage absorption void will counter both of their mechanics, and you're able to sweep both of them right away. Now, for myself, I like to stall on Durga personally because she's not a big threat. But for people who are interested in speed farming the dungeon as fast as possible, this is going to make your life significantly easier. And the best part is Razor is a strong leader. Of course, using Razor as a leader does have its own drawbacks, but I want to explain how his leader skill works first. So, his leader skill is 4 times attack for wood cards. So any wood card, 4 times attack. 1.5 times or 2.25 times dark. 2.25 times health for dark attribute, and then 4 times attack and reduce damage taken with 6 or more combos. So you have 256 times attack very easily. You should always be able to make 6 or more combos. That shouldn't be an issue. And then you have 2.25 times health for dark attribute cards. Razor is dark attribute, so you have some bonus health there. Damage reduction again should always occur. So he has the potential for very high effective amounts of health, but one point I want to stress is that you don't have to have every single card be wood dark. And the reason for that is you only need enough effective health to tank the largest reasonable hit in the game. If you're playing through Arena 5, this is enough multiplier. If all your subs are just wood, no dark, you have enough effective health to tank all the hits in the game in that dungeon. Because Razor will be providing extra health. That is 6,700 plus another 1,000 for pluses. Basically times that by 2.25 times, and then times it by 2 again. Very high amount. You have more than enough bonus health coming in from this leader. Like, you're going to have around 55,000 health. 55,000 health. Should be more than enough with your damage reduction. You can tank all the preemptives. Nice enough. But, of course, if you throw in things like Ragnarok Dragon, Green Sonya, those sort of things, you do get even more health. Again, you can modify your health accordingly. But by choosing not to use Wood Dark cards, you can use Xela. And Xela is arguably the best sub in the game in a vacuum when you just consider all her awakening stats and active skill, because she has 777 combo, VDP, follow-up attack, bicolor board changer with hearts and wood, and combo count built in along with high weighted stats. No other sub really can compete. And basically any leader that can use Xela effectively is going to be considered strong, and Razor is no exception. So Razor himself still has impressive awakenings. You have double 7 combo, Devil Killer, which like I've mentioned before is very common in Arena 5 and Alt Arena 2, and Machine Killer, which is less impactful. But you have very high amounts of damage with your leaders. You only need to make 6 or more combos, which should always be doable. That can be important because if you choose a VDP card without 7 combos, you can still do the VDP plus follow attack. If you are using Xela, you can use her board changer, and if you have the super follow-up attack awakening, you just make 2 boxes. You make a wood box and a heart box, that's your follow-up attack, and the plus combo count from Xela's active skill will carry you enough for Xena to activate into 7 combos to deal her stupendously high amounts of damage. So basically Razor has wonderful team building options. You only need enough health to survive the large preemptives, so you don't have to think I must use Wood Dart cards. Razor in his base form is actually still quite strong as well. He has 3 skill boosts, and he's bonus damage while lower health. A much weaker leader overall, but it has some applications because there's no combo count tied to his leader skill. So in theory, a single combo when you are below 79% health is 225 times. This is like Zeus Verse. So if you're able to keep your health lower, you are able to sweep content quickly. One thing I want to stress is that during ranking dungeons, you are able to utilize Razor's base form as an alternative to Zeus Verse, because that way you don't have to worry about preemptives knocking your health down. You are able to just keep matching. You don't have to worry about healing. It can save you some time, can boost your boost your score. But if you only had one Razor, I would stick to his dark form because it is just vastly superior overall. And then for his weapon assist, it's 2 team health, which is nice. It's 10% bonus health, but I am much more in favor of using any of the resist weapon assists for Jam or Blind or Poison, because outright countering those mechanics is infinitely more helpful, unless that health allows you to survive a very large preemptive without using an active skill to mitigate the damage. Then maybe you could justify it, but again, I would just go for the resists in most cases. And now we come to the 6-star cards, which are unfortunately much more underwhelming by comparison. Belial is basically lots of TPAs, and that's it. That's all you're offering as a Fire Dart card. So maybe Madu teams can utilize it, or Makoto's, but again, those teams are okay, but not exactly game-breaking. It's mostly just an awkward TPA stick. Mercury is a very strong card. Mercury's active skills increase Wood Orb Skyfall chances for 3 turns, delay 2 turns to enemies. Okay, nothing amazing. Leader skill we don't care for. It's the Awakenings and her potential for farming purposes. So she has double Dragon Killer and 2 attack while above 80% health, and a Super Awakenings for physical or attacker. So we do have Tsubaki, we do have Kiri, who are strong Dragon Killing options. But having another Dragon Killer option in a different color is important. So even though Mercury does have lower damage, 3 Dragon Killers is 27 times versus 20.25 times attack, it's still reasonable overall as long as you're above 80%. That should be more than enough to one combo most things. But if you are facing a dragon spawn with physical or attacker typing, your damage output goes even higher to 60.75 times. Insanely high damage output potential. So for ranking dungeons or farming purposes, Mercury can be a stellar damage stick. Of course, raw damage by itself is not all that matters in this game, because right now we're facing so many spawns with void damage mechanics, so you can't just have them one subdue stupendously high amounts of damage without the VDP awakening. Shust is a premier button option. Basically, their active skill will do 300 times attack damage to a single enemy and change your health to 1, and then change the bottom row to water orbs. So if you're using a farming-based team that likes water orbs, this is going to be one of your best button options. So nuking your own health can be seen as problematic, but the thing is, when you nuke your health down to 1, you can combo with other button-style active skills like Vitra or other things, or Grimjaw, something that relies on being low health to deal damage. So it does give you some options, and he only has a 15-turn cooldown, which is tremendously helpful. And the water row can be swiped to solve another floor, so he might solve many problems. But the thing is, it's basically just a button, and we do have many other buttons available nowadays. Like 300 times is still on the high end, but with the GungHo Collab going on right now, you can farm a Durandolph, which is another 300 times button, and it's farmable. So Shust has lost a lot of his appeal because there are just more button options available. Still strong, but if you don't have interest in button farming, not a useful card. Artemus in the GungHo Collab is quite sad. Like, they do gain a bit more value perhaps, like double evolution material with double devil with their super waking means they have some applications in training arena. You could have a card with 9 times damage against those respective spawns, which are common, but there are so many other damage options available, like I don't think it's anything special to sing home about. Tsukuyomi from the GungHo event is also very powerful. It's become significantly stronger because their leader skill has been buffed. So their active is bonus orb movement time, 2 times RCV, 2 times attack. It's okay. Their leader skill is what's quite spicy. It's 225 times attack and 43.75% damage reduction. But you are a color match leader. But if you match 5 or more combos, you have damage reduction, but you have to scale up to 5 colors to get your full multiplier. So matching less colors means less multiplier. But as a transitional early leader for shallow boxes, she is actually quite strong. Like, the only hindrance is going to be a lack of orb movement time, but it will teach you how to combo better. So I just honestly feel that like it's a nice training wheels leader. Reasonable multipliers, reasonable damage output, low time extend, but it'll teach you how to combo. It will teach you how to manage orbs and find a way to actually match all 5 colors when given the board opportunity. So nice training wheels leader. Joker's leader skill has also been improved. Basically, you need to match 8 combos for 225 times and 2.25 times health for dark attributes. So again, another training wheels leader, but I prefer Tsukuyomi because it has the damage reduction component and the active skill I think is stronger. Yes, you are able to heal 50% of your max health in one combo for one turn, but it's kind of a niche scenario. But one point I want to address is it can be a Fatalis sub because with his 3 or 4 Ls, depending on the Super Awakening, Joker is able to have high damage output on a team that actually favors Ls. Furthermore, the plus combo count might have a bit of help for overcoming combo shields because matching an L is cumbersome. And the 50% health heal can be useful because that would be possibly like a 60 or 70,000 health heal. Not a terrible thing. Niche overall, I feel like there are better subs available, but it is something to consider. And now the 5-star base cards, they're not even in existence. I just included them just in case, but they're not good whatsoever. None of them are amazing. So, in conclusion, apparently Best Buy wants me to buy Spirit Island. Maybe I'll look into that. But this GungHo Collab Super Godfest is quite a strong affair. We have a good 33% chance of rolling any valuable card, like 7-star Godfest, 6-star Godfest exclusive, or 7-star GungHo Collab card. There is nice collateral benefits, and the thing is, the GungHo Collab cards with the Dark Evolutions, 3 out of the 4 are incredibly strong leaders. So if you're missing strong or top tier leaders, this might be a good opportunity because, again, if you miss these cards, you're possibly going to be rolling something still of value. So let me know what you think about these cards in the comments below, along with the Super Godfest going on right now. Hopefully you all have a fantastic day. I wish you all the best luck in your own pad adventures, and happy puzzling.